and welcome to Yoga with Annie. Today I'm going to take you through this beginner yoga sequence, which is great to build and work on flexibility, strength, as well as balance. So even if you don't really have a lot of experience with yoga or just getting into it, this will be really easy and simple for you to follow. You don't really need any props for this practice, but if you do happen to own some blocks, you might want to have them close by just in case. We are going to be on our knees for a little while, so if that is uncomfortable for you, you can just use a pillow under your knees. So we are going to start by sitting. So we're going to start by sitting our right shin in front of our left shin. If that doesn't work for you, you can cross your legs, which is fine also. But do try to get your right shin in front of your left one. We're going to move over towards our right knee and just scroll our fingertips out all the way as far as we can. And just pushing down into our left hip. You should start to feel a really great stretch here for the left side of your ribcage and maybe along your back. Try to relax your head and your neck. And remember, just staying high up on your fingertips. See if you can crawl them out even a little bit more. So keep your right hand as it is and stretch your left arm all the way up, rolling that shoulder. And inhale. As we exhale, coming all the way back to center. Now we're going to switch our legs, so our left shin will be in front of our right shin now. We're going to face towards our left knee and just scroll our fingertips out. Lengthening and really try to go as far as you can with your fingertips. Pushing down into your right hip. Stretching out through the side of your waist. So always important in yoga is that you stay connected to your breath. Your breath is an anchor you can always return to. So keep your left hand as it is and stretch your right arm all the way up, rolling that right shoulder back, expanding nice and long. Now we're going to use a little bit of core here and come up all the way back through to the center. And now sitting in any way that works for you. From here on, we are going to open our arms like a little cactus shape. And as we inhale, we're going to puff our chest forward. And on the exhale, we're going to round and to contract palms together. And inhale, open up. And exhale, around and bring in. One more time. Inhale, open up. And exhale, round and contract. And coming back to neutral. So we are going to start in a wide-legged child's pose. This is a wonderful pose to open up through the inner thighs and really start getting into the hips. So big toes together, bring your knees as wide as you would like them to be. The wider they are, the more intense this will be. So intensity is okay, but we never want to go into the realm of pain, especially at the beginning of our practice. You're probably a little bit tighter, a little bit stiffer, and as we warm up, it will be easier to get into these type of poses. As you reach your hips towards your heels, you can extend your arms forward and just try to relax your head and neck or your chest towards the mat. Take a couple of deep breaths here. And already check in with yourself and notice if there's any pain in your lower back or pain through the inner thighs. And if this is the case, just bring your knees closer to each other. A huge part of yoga is all about connecting to your breath. So as we hold here for a few moments, really focus on breathing in and out. So not just breathing a shallow way through your chest, but really deep, mindful breaths. So whenever you exhale, see if you can relax your shoulders a little bit more. Relax your hips a little more and stretch out really long through the arms. So we're going to start by walking our hands in, lifting our chest up on all fours. Making sure your palms are underneath your shoulders and your knees underneath your hips. Your fingertips should be nice and widely spread because we're trying to take some weight out of our wrist. Important here is our foundation. So make sure your middle and index finger is showing towards the top of your mat. And really push into your fingertips and knuckles. We're going now into our cat and cow position. So as we inhale, curl your tailbone up, drop your belly, lift your gaze up. As you exhale, reverse by curling into your tailbone, rounding your back and dropping your head. And we'll just go a couple of times through this motion. So inhale, curl your tailbone up, drop your belly and looking up. Exhale to contract and round. Let's just continue. This is really wonderful to do if you spend a lot of time during the day sitting at the desk. And also great to do first thing in the morning. So one more time, inhale, curl the tailbone, dropping the belly, looking up, and exhale, rounding the back. And we're coming back now to neutral. So let's just realign ourselves, making sure our palms are under our shoulders and knees under our hips. We're now going to extend our right leg back behind you. Push into that right heel, stretching into the calf and a little bit into the ankle. And now you're just going to cross your right foot as far over to the left as you can. Start to push into your right hip and look all the way over your left shoulder towards that right foot. So this is a big body stretch to the sides of your waist and down the leg. Take a big inhale here and bring that foot back as you exhale. So just realign yourself again, palms under your shoulders, knees underneath your hips. And this time we are going to extend the left leg back behind you. Push that left heel, stretching into the calf and a little bit into the ankle. And now crossing your left foot as far over to the right as you can. Start to push into your left hip and look towards that left foot. That's a nice little side bend here. Big inhale here and bring that foot back as you exhale. And coming back into our neutral tabletop pose. So now we're going to work a little bit on our core strength. Keep pushing the fingertips and knuckles. Engage your abdominals here. Keep your toes pointed back. And see if you can push into the tops of the feet. Knees and your shins just a little bit off the floor. Keep a super straight spine and set them back down. Now lifting your right knee up as high as your hip if you can. And notice if you're bending your left elbow, try to press it straight. Bring your right knee and shin back down. Again, we're engaging our abdominals and push into the top of our feet and come down. Now we're going to lift our left knee as high as your hip if you can. And again, notice if you're bending your right elbow and just press it straight. Bring your left leg down. Again, engage your abdominals and push into the top of your feet and come down. We're going to go a little bit faster here. So, inhale, right knee up, exhale, knee down. Pushing into the top of our feet and come down. Inhale, left knee up. Exhale, bring that knee back. Pushing into your top of the feet. And come down. One more time. Inhale, right knee up. Exhale, down. Pushing into your feet. Coming down. Inhale, left leg up. Exhale, bringing it back. Last time. Pushing into your feet. And come back. And just realign yourself into your neutral tabletop pose. From here we will just go into our puppy pose. So start by walking your hands forward. Now dropping your elbows. Keep your knees at hip alignment. And place your forehead on the ground. Now just tuck your tummy in. We don't want any pressure on that lower back. And just start by walking your hands a little bit more forward. Trying to get a great big stretch here. Please don't hold your breath. Remember to breathe. Inhale and exhale. Now keep your elbows where they are. Start looking up. Bring your tailbone down. Going all the way onto your tummy. Spread your fingertips wide and roll your shoulders back, looking up. Inhale. As we exhale, just come down. You can put your hands here next to your shoulders. And try to push up using arm strength into tabletop pose. And from here, just realign yourself. So make sure that your palms are under your shoulders and knees and hips are in line. So reach your right foot back. Roll onto the inner edge of your right foot. So you are leaning on your left hand and left knee. Stretch your right arm up to the sky. Try to align your right shoulder directly over the top of your left one. And try to stack your right hip on top of your left hip. And if you are feeling pretty good balance-wise, challenge yourself by looking up towards your thumb. Remember not to hold your breath. So inhale. And as we exhale, stretch your right arm over your head. Big side body stretch here. Inhale and exhale. And inhale. As we exhale, release and come back to tabletop pose. So just realign yourself again here. Now we are going to take our left leg and step it back. We're going to roll to the inside edges of that left leg. So it is flat on the floor. This will help you with your balance and stretch your left arm up to the sky. Stacking one shoulder over the other. Left hip on top of your right hip. Maybe you start to look up at your thumb, or you can just keep your gaze right in front of you or even down on the floor. So inhale, and as we exhale, take a big side body stretch, bicep along the ear. And inhale, and as we exhale, the left hand comes back down and we turn back into our tabletop pose, realigning ourselves. And let's find child's pose. So, toes, big toes together. Start taking our hips down towards our heels, arms extended. And just take nice long breaths here. And just notice how this little sequence has activated your body where you feel it the most. And let's just pause here for a little while so that we can catch our breath and find that slow, steady rhythm that's easy to maintain. When you are ready, we will lift back into tabletop pose. So just realign yourself. Remember to open your toes. It's time now to go into our first downward facing dog. So from tabletop pose, you will need to walk your hands a couple of centimeters past your shoulders. Tuck your toes under and lifting your hips up and back. So feet about hip width distance apart, and just go ahead, paddle the feet so you can bend one knee and straighten the opposite leg, and just switch that a few times. And really, do not worry about having straight legs, and don't worry about getting your heels to the mat. Start by bending your knees so your heels will be lifted off the floor. And see if you can just push into your arms and reach your chest towards your thighs. Relax your head and relax your neck. And over time, maybe you'll be able to start straightening the legs. Maybe the heels will touch. But honestly, this is not the goal of this pose. If you're feeling sensation, if you're getting a good stretch, if you're feeling the strength building up in your arms, you're doing it perfectly. So take one more full breath in here. Now, as we inhale, we're going to take our right leg and lift it up as high as you can. And inhale here. As we exhale, start to push your body forward. Bringing your left knee down to the floor. Take your right leg and put it between your palms. And start by just pushing into your fingertips and looking up. Roll your shoulders down and away from your ears, and as you melt your hips down towards the floor. So you're going to start to feel that nice stretch through the front of your left thigh. And now you can push into the leg a little bit more, engaging some strength as you lift up and into this low lunge. Think of rolling your shoulders back and maybe even looking up. And take a nice deep breath. Inhale. As we exhale, coming down with the hands, back to the floor. Now we are going to push our hips back, extending our right leg to the back, lifting our left knee up, and we're now in our high plank position. Drop your knees to the floor, toes flat on the ground. Lower your hips and start to look up into cobra pose. Now tucking your toes back in, pressing your hips up and back. And we're going back into downward dog. So again, your knees are welcome to bend here. And we're going to start doing the same to our left leg. So, big inhale and lift up your left leg. As we exhale, pushing forward, dropping your right knee and placing your left foot between your palm. And just pushing up with your fingertips. Please make sure that your ankle and knee are in line. Roll the shoulders back. And as we inhale, start lifting yourself up. Rolling again, shoulders down and away from the ears. You can look up. Take a big inhale, and as we exhale, putting your fingertips down. So pushing yourself back. Extend your left leg, extend your right leg into our plank. From here, we're just lifting the tailbone up, pushing back again into downward dog. And here you can again just realign yourself. until you are comfortable. And try to lengthen out through your spine, straighten your arms, relax your neck, let your head be heavy. Take a couple of deep breaths here. And when you are ready, start to walk towards your hands. And you can definitely bend your knees here a lot. Hold onto your elbows. As you can, sway a little bit from side to side. We call this the ragdoll pose. It's a big stretch through the back of your legs. Now release your fingertips down to the floor. Bend your knees a little bit more. And go ahead, press up through your knee heels as you slowly roll all the way into your mountain pose. I'm just going to turn to face everyone here. So as you lean on your left leg, go ahead and pick up your right knee and right leg off the floor. So notice how one hip wants to lift higher than the other. Try to keep them both at same height. This is using ab strength and hip flexor strength. Keep your gaze steady and see if you can open that right thigh to the side. Try not to push your left hip out. Try and squeeze everything together and bring it back forward and lower down. Let's go do the same thing on the other side. So lean onto your right leg, squeeze and lift that left knee up, making sure not tilting through your pelvis. Try not to dig with your toes, keep your weight on your heel and check your hip. So this is a big rotation. And bring that hip all the way forward again and release. So one more time, we're going to add on from here. So lean onto your left leg. Squeeze and lift your right knee up. Go ahead, open to the side. And then maybe make your way to your tree pose. So you're going to place the foot somewhere along the inside of that leg. Maybe towards the thigh or maybe down that shin level, which is totally fine as well. So choose where you want to place your right foot. Try to push and squeeze everything together to lift you a little bit higher. And once you feel like it, and you're having some good balance here, you can extend your arms up, maybe open it. Remember, holding your breath does not make this any easier. So let's bring our hands back in front of our hearts and carefully release. And we'll go and switch sides. So leaning onto your right leg, go ahead, lift your left knee up as high as it will go, and then open it up to the side. And we're going to place it for tree pose. So place your foot anywhere where it feels good. Try not to push out your hips some more. So really try and squeeze everything in. Take your time. Notice if you're digging your toes into the floor, try to lighten a little bit through your toes. So maybe you can reach your arms up and out. So one more big breath here. Hands come together in front of your heart and release. So turn that you're facing the long edges of your mat and go ahead and widen the legs. And you want both feet to be parallel to the shorter edges of your mat. We are putting our hands on our hips. We are going to inhale. As we exhale, you're going to hinge halfway and then forward fold. So you can place your hands down and just try to relax your head. Big opening to the back of the legs here. And remember to breathe. Now you can start by walking your hands out in front of you again. Bring your hands to your hips. And again, push into your feet and come all the way up. Now turn both feet out, pointing in a 45-degree angle. So bow to the top corners of your mat. And then bend into your knees, into our goddess pose, and squeeze those knees open. You really need to work into the glutes here. And go ahead and reach your arms up overhead. Inhale. Exhale and sink a little bit lower. Inhale, big circle with the arms. Exhale, draw that in. Last one. Inhale and exhale. So coming back through to neutral, pushing into your feet, come all the way up. Now turn your right front toe so that's pointing towards the top of the mat. And your back foot should be parallel to the back of your mat. Bend into your front knee, going into warrior two. Palms are facing down. As you bend into that front knee, think of squeezing it open towards your little toe. This is deep opening into our hips here. As you inhale, straighten the front leg, bring your arms up overhead to touch. Exhale, pressing down a little deeper into warrior two. A few more like this. Inhale up. Exhale, press and push down. Two more breathings. And straighten. Inhale. Exhale, push down. Last one. Inhale and exhale. Now drop your left hand to your thigh. Reach over with your right arm. Big side body stretch. And back to warrior two. Straighten your front leg. Now we're going to turn the right toe in so it's parallel to the top of the mat. Now pivot so that your left toe are facing towards the back of your mat. Warrior two, same thing, but just on the other side. So as you bend into the left knee, squeeze and open. You want your knee on top of your ankle. Bend down and then inhale, straighten the leg. Reach your arms up. Exhale, press and sink a little deeper. So flowing with your breath. Make this a mindful practice. Inhale, stretching up. Exhale, get deeper into your hips. Last one. Inhale. And exhale. We will reverse our warrior. So now drop your right hand to your thigh and reach your left arm up and over. Coming all the way back into our warrior two. Pushing the legs straight, turning the left toe in, and you can bring in your feet. We're going to step to the top of the mat. We are now going to place our hands at our heart and close our eyes and find the flow of your breath again here. And as we inhale, arms rise above your head. And exhale, folding forward. You can definitely bend your knees here. Now, reaching down through your feet and bring your hands up to your shins into a halfway lift. Make sure you are not locking your knees. Draw your shoulder blades together. Pull the lower belly in towards your spine. Keep that neck nice and long. Your gaze is down at the floor below you, not forward. Notice if your hips are leaning forward. See if you can send your hips back so they are stacked above your ankle. Now, inhale and exhale. Fold again forward. And we're going to make our way back into downward dog. So I'm just going to step back. So take your time. Hands will be shoulder width distance apart. Your feet are hip width distance apart. So as you lift your hips and you're pushing back, just make any little movements and adjustments that feels good here to stretch out. Downward dog is really wonderful full body activating pose. There's really nothing, it's not working here. From downward dog, we're going to do a little bit of a flow, so a couple of positions in one motion. So from downward dog, we're pushing forward into our high plank, dropping our knees to the floor, toes flat on the ground, lowering your hips, start to look up into cobra pose. Bringing our hips up back, putting our big toes together, knees apart, and just try and fall down into our child's pose. So we're going to start to cool down now. And bring up your hips, going back into tabletop pose. Take your big toes apart, walk your hands a little bit forward, going into puppy pose. So elbows down, put your forehead on the ground, making sure your knees and hip alignment is still good. Tuck in your tummy, walk your hands forward. Elbows stay where it is, bringing your hips down and looking up into Sphinx pose. Inhale and exhale, coming down. Now we can just roll over onto our backs. So lying down on our backs, keeping your knees bended so your feet are flat to the floor. Your feet are about hip distance apart. You want to have your heels pretty close in towards your glutes, rolling your shoulders down and away from your ears. Palms are facing up to the sky. We are going to squeeze our glutes, power up through your thighs, and see if you can push to lift your hips off the mat. So lifting and pushing your hips up as high as they can go without letting your knees open to the sides. So really keep your knees stacked over the top of your ankles. This is your bridge pose. So squeeze a little bit more to lift higher. There should be no tension in your neck. And then slowly come back to your mat until your hips are back to the floor. We're going to extend our arms out to the sides into a little cactus shape. And we're going to move our hips a little bit to the right side. And both our knees and thighs are going to do drop to the left. Into a lying spinal twist. Collarbones keep facing up. Take a nice long deep breaths here. Going to inhale. As we exhale, we bring our knees back to center. Now we are just going to move our hips to the left side and dropping our knees to the right side. And we are gazing up. Taking nice long deep breaths. And inhale. As we exhale, bringing our knees up and back to center. So now we're going to pull our knees towards our belly, giving ourselves a little bit of squeeze if that feels good. Maybe roll a little bit side to side, massaging the back. And we're settling ourselves up now for our last pose, our final resting pose, Shavasana. So we're going to extend out long of our legs. Give yourselves lots of space to get comfortable in and just settle here. And I know it might be tempting, especially at home, to exit the video at this point and stop your practice, but I really encourage you to stay here. Really let yourself enjoy the time of rest and relaxation. It gives your body the opportunity to really process all of this good hard work that you've done. So give yourself permission to linger here, to connect to your breath, and to notice how your body feels now, as opposed to when you first stepped onto your mat. Start by relaxing your lower body. Feel how it starts to sink into your mat and then your upper body. And take nice, long, slow breaths. With every exhale, you feel your body sinking deeper into the mat. You can start to breathe a little deeper so you can wake back up. And if you want, you can stretch your hands out, stretch your feet out, roll onto your side, press yourself up, and come into an easy seated position. And bring your hands together in front of your heart, showing yourself gratitude, really recognizing and honor all of your hard work. So one more time, big breath in and exhale. Namaste everyone, and thank you so much. And please do subscribe to my channel.